Today on Listen Up, religious extremism. What's being done to fight beliefs that incite violence? That's next. Welcome to Listen Up. I'm Lorna Duick. If you've taken an international flight recently, you know the enormous energy and resources that are being poured into preventing acts of terrorism in our skies. Full body scans, luggage searches, restrictions on what can be carried aboard aircraft. All security measures that have been stepped up since the foiled Christmas Day bombing aboard a U.S. airliner. An attempted act of terrorism motivated by religious belief. We've seen terror on the ground too. The recent mass shootings at Fort Hood, for example. And in January, a Canadian terrorist was sentenced to life in prison in the case of young Al-Qaeda-inspired extremists who plotted to blow up their fellow citizens. In his ruling, the Canadian judge said the potential for loss of life in the case existed on a scale never before seen in Canada. So as the world continues to wage war on terror, we're asking, how do we battle the beliefs that lie at the roots of terrorism? We'll explore the answers from our Christian perspective. And later in the show, we'll meet a Muslim imam who works with Muslim youth to intercept extremists in his own faith. And we'll meet a preacher and broadcaster who has his ear to the ground in the Middle East, listening and teaching on issues of belief, Christian and Islamic. But first, imams across North America are taking steps to combat violence in their community. Earlier this year, 28 imams issued a fatwa against any Muslim who would attempt to commit an act of terrorism in North America. Joining me now to talk about the fatwa from Calgary is the imam who organized the initiative, Saeed Sohawardi, a Sufi Muslim of the Islamic Supreme Council. And here in Toronto is Imam Ali Hindi of the Salahuddin Islamic Center. And gentlemen, thank you both for being with us. And Imam Sohawardi, let's start with you. This is the first time that a fatwa has been issued by Muslim clergy declaring attacks in Canada and the U.S. as an attack on all Muslims. Why has it taken so long?
Now, I just want to clarify one thing. We Muslim, different organizations, different imams have issued fatwa in the past as well. There has been 5 or 6 fatwas issued by different organizations and imams. Back in 2005, there was a fatwa by several Canadian imams. What is different about this fatwa, that this fatwa connects the attack on United States and Canada with the religious obligation that we have based upon our Islamic teachings. And that's why it is unique. In this case, we have 28 imams across North America. And they said, the attack on Canada and United States by a terrorist, regardless of his or her religion, any attack is in fact attack on all citizens. That includes 10 million Muslims living across this North America.
Okay, and as you mentioned, only 28 imams have signed on, and we have with us here in our Toronto studio an imam you did not sign on, Imam Ali Hindi. Why not?
This fatwa, besides it's not necessary, it is wrong.
And why is it wrong?
It is wrong because when you have a general rule in Islam, you only issue fatwa when you have some specific situation that is not explained. And you need to explain it or to find the ruling in it. But if you have general rule, apply it generally, and then you go for a specific case and you say, I'm telling you, don't do this because of that, actually you're implying that other situation does not apply.
So you agree then with the principle being warned against, that a Muslim should not be attacking in terrorism?
That's it. But I mean, if you say because there is Muslim living in North America, then if you attack on North America, is attack on Muslims, you are implying that if there's no Muslims in North America, you can attack civilian, which is now you actually implying that Islam permit to attack civilians, which is completely wrong.
Okay, Imam Sohawardi, the point is, why argue this on religious freedom? Of course, it's taken for granted you shouldn't be attacking.
No, Imam Hindi, his misunderstanding is, he is seeing that we are saying do not attack because we live here. That is not the case in the Islamic jurisprudence. When you issue a fatwa, it is about an issue. Whenever a Islamic scholars or group of Islamic scholars issue fatwa, that they issue fatwa based upon the issue question that has been put to the imams. And there was a question.
What we're talking about? There
was
no
a question. Let me finish. Let me finish, Imam Hindi. That there was a question presented to the imams that there are Muslims within the Muslim community who are using Islam as a reason to attack on United States and Canada. They are justifying terrorism in the name of Islam.
That's even wrong.
We need absolutely this is not wrong.
We have not
those people
when people say that this attack in the name of Islam, I completely disagree. Have you ever checked all the tapes that were so-called tapes for Bin Laden or whatever? They never said because Islam we do this. We said because Palestine, because this, because the American doing to us. So not to do with Islam. This is something political.
Okay, but it is well documented, Imams, if I can just say this to you both, that you have a few radical clerics and the one who's inspired the latest underwear bomber. These people have been dangerous for your faith, and
nothing to do with the faith. This is what you have to understand. Nothing to do with the faith. If you do injustice to Chinese and they attack you, is it because they are yellow in color?
Okay, so
it is because you attack them.
When you know that there are voices within Islam that are inspiring for terrorism, how will that be stopped?
No voice in Islam inspiring terrorism. That's you have to understand this.
We can look at the cleric who is in Yemen, Kabwa, who
what did he say? What did he say? I'm not sympathizing or supporting terrorism. But at the same time, we are in denial. We just don't look at the root cause of the problem, and instead look at the history of Muslim. 1400 years. They find only the last 20 or 30 years they discovered the religion and they found out that you have to kill the infidels. Before that, they were peaceful.
Yeah,
actually, most of the damage was coming from the Crusaders. For what
if we had those many peaceful years, what's gone wrong in the last 20 years?
Well, you ask
and
yourself.
How will it be? Okay, so it is the politics of the Middle East.
We have to ask ourselves, as West, in the West here, we have to ask ourselves what we are doing wrong.
Imam Sohawardi, your view, how will this be policed?
Absolutely. This has to be policed. This has to be educated. It is a religious obligation. It is our Islamic duty to stand up against the evil that is taking place in our society. Become a suicide bomber or terrorist is absolutely un-Islamic. It is haram. It is forbidden, period.
Gentlemen, thank you both. Imam Sohawardi in Calgary and Imam Ali Hindi here in Toronto. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. When we return, the warning signs of radicalization. That's next.
The issue is he believes or she believes they are doing something for God. If you kill people for God, therefore you have a reward in heaven.